Winter, spring, summer, fall, seasons change, we still keep it together.
Hey Beverly Hills 90210 fans! Are you ready to dive deep, episode by episode, storyline by storyline, character by character, as we break down the making of your favorite zip code? With your hosts, Charles Rosen.
Did I say that? Yeah.
Harry
This
Mullen.
heinous thing about the real person, and we going, what? We're getting rid of this guy.
Pete Ferrero.
I'm feeling wonderful. Kathleen looks TV crush-worthy.
Like so many special guests. And all your questions. Live on the Beverly Hills 90210 show. Oh, yeah. Everybody dance now.
Well, hello, and welcome to another edition of the Beverly Hills 90210 show. Lots of things happening behind the scenes. By the way, very hated intro, Larry. I don't know if you know.
I saw that. I'm totally gonna, get behind Chuck's. I can't. Everybody dance now. I find that great. It really energizes me. I saw some hater comments on it. I was totally baffled by it. Like, it's just the thing.
See, the thing for me is usually if someone says, hey, can I come on the show? I'd like to meet so-and-so. I'm down for all of that. When they say they don't like the intro, I leave the intro for as long as possible. It works both ways for me.
Yeah, well, it's just, some things you don't like.
Yeah, but hey, it's Chuck singing. How can you not like it?
It always gets me going. It's so ridiculous.
I know.
And lovable, and it's great. It's his catchphrase.
Well, listen, we're going to cover this episode, and it's going to be a lot of fun. Sarah, you said you got a chance to watch this episode. Looking back at season 7, what did you think?
It's called.
Go ahead.
We should say what it's called, Pete.
Go ahead. It's Here We Go Again. Yes.
Right.
I honestly couldn't remember where everyone was in their relationship, so it took me a minute to be like, okay, who's together, who's not, and then I couldn't remember what Steve's big secret was. So it was kind of fun to watch it because I kind of forgot. Yeah,
he had a big secret. And speaking of Steve, we have one of his brothers about to join us here. Hey! Look who it is.
How are you?
Travis. How are you?
Nice that we've tracked him down. It's so great.
It is awesome.
One of the monkey children, step brothers of Steve, sons of Rush Sanders.
Flying Monkey Brothers, I believe, is what we were.
Yeah, Flying Monkey Brothers.
Travis, I'm curious, man. How did you get the audition for 90210? Do you remember all that?
Yeah, actually, I think I remember more about the audition than I actually remember shooting a lot of the show. So, I was just sort of actor for hire, and got the audition. Went in and, typical audition process, I think I went in for a pre-read with the casting director, and then they brought me back in, met with the producers and did the same thing and got booked. And, I think what they wanted is they wanted someone who made Randy look kind of sane and cool by comparison. And I didn't know that. I actually didn't know that Randy Spelling was going to be, the other brother. And, but just that was kind of my style at the time. I kind of ate the scenery and went in there and did it, and booked it. So
it's a huge show, right? I mean, at the time, it's Beverly Hills 90210 is one of the biggest shows going on. What's it like walking onto set and when did you find out you're going to be paired with Randy Spelling, which must be also a thing?
Yeah, so I found out about that, I think, just a few days before. No, I found out at the table read. So I found out that it was a table read, and that's when he was like, hey, I'm Randy. And I'm like, yeah, you look familiar. He's like, yeah, Randy Spelling. Okay, got it. And, I kind of did that math, and then, then just kind of realizing, Aaron Spelling's kid. I'm working with Aaron Spelling's kid. No big deal. So, that was kind of added a little bit of, is it pressure? I don't know if it was pressure. But I felt like the eyes would be on me a little bit more than they usually are for a guest starring role. Usually you're a guest star, and your basic job is to just show up and hit the marks and don't. Are we cussing on this?
Yeah, it's all
sure, go right ahead.
Legal.
So just hit your marks. Don't fuck it up. Be cool, and don't abuse the staff. You know what I'm saying? Don't say dirty craft service. Just don't.
Right.
And so that's usually what you got to do. But now you're finding out it was Randy Spelling. That kind of added that extra layer of realizing that the producers were going to be paying a little bit more attention. So, yeah, so that made it more interesting, but it also made it cool because, you know, obviously Randy was well known on the set and so on and so forth. So, you know, so being kind of associated with him gave me a little bit more entree into just sort of, you know, like being able to get the good meal breaks and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So, cool. Yeah.
Well, you do a lot of work with everybody here, and one of the people obviously is Ian. That's someone else that you're working a lot with too. What was that experience like?
He was great. I mean, everyone on the show was just fantastic. I really can't. I have nothing bad to say. I mean, everyone was just absolutely great. Super accommodating. You know, Jason was awesome. Ian was awesome. I mean, just everyone. Brian was awesome. I mean, just everybody. You know, a couple years, it was like a couple years after I was on the show, like 3 years after I was on the show, Jenny Garth was walking through the third promenade. And I was just kind of sitting there. I was at lunch with my friend, and I wasn't going to say anything. I was going to go, hey!
Steve's brother!
Third Street, they kind of have like, you know, the outdoor seating, the outdoor patio area. And I was just kind of sitting there eating lunch, and she walks by. She's pushing her baby in a baby stroller, and she goes, "Hey, Travis!" And she like, you know, made it a point.
Oh, amazing!
What's up? And so, yeah, it was great. Ian was, you know, top man, you know, super professional. So it was great.
That's really awesome. Well, one of the people that you get to interact with on this episode, I don't know if you remember, was Beth. Do you remember Beth?
Charlotte.
Here she is. We're all about the reunion here on this show. Yeah.
I'll set it up for you, Travis. You're with Randy, and you decide a good idea is to try to sneak into the cabana to watch Beth take a shower.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Something that probably wouldn't air in 2021.
Yeah, exactly. And of course, you know, before that, though, Randy as character has really had a nice moment with Charlotte. Charlotte, you were lovely in this episode. You light up the screen. I'm so glad we could see you. Yeah, and so you totally mess up your brother with this thing, because once she sees what he's really like, she decides she's not going to spend the day with him, you know, or night.
Well, yes, exactly.
What do you, Charlotte? What about for you? What do you remember about coming into this world of 90210?
Well, that's a great question, because I was just starting out, and I just remember getting the job and being very excited. And it was in the days where TV and film were very separate. And I was really focused on doing film. But once I got this job with Aaron Spelling, I was very excited, because I knew that this was just a wonderful project and something that I should be excited about.
Yeah. And you told me yesterday something about Aaron Spelling. You had a cool little Aaron Spelling moment, right?
I did. So after I filmed the show, Aaron asked me for a meeting, and he basically said, "I want to invite you into in the Spelling family." And I guess that what that meant was to bring me onto one of the shows or whatnot. And he said, "Can I get you anything to eat?" I said, "Thank you, but no, I'm good." But he said, "You know, we just really loved what you did on the show, and we'd like to have you be with us more."
That's really awesome. Travis, what about you? When you start working with Randy, do you guys immediately have a bond as friends off camera, or is it just for the show, or how does it develop into anything? Are you hanging out, or not really?
You know, I mean, you develop a rapport, but a rapport is not the same thing as like a true lasting friendship or anything. But we did hang out off set for a minute, you know, because like we had like I think a year or two or a couple of years there where we were kind of recurring on the show. So yeah, like he invited me up to the house, and that was awesome, getting to see the Spelling Mansion. So yeah, I mean, we hung out. We definitely got along. He's a great guy too. I thought, you know, I honestly thought, and this might be between you and me and everyone else that's watching, but, you know, I honestly thought he would be kind of, you know like a spoiled Hollywood kid, right? But, you know, he was pretty, for being who he was and being the family he comes from, the situation that he was in at the time, you know, super down to earth, very cool. So definitely got along with him really well. And yeah.
That's awesome.
Well, he's a friend of the show. He lives in Portland. He's a life coach and a therapist up there.
Oh, no kidding. That's awesome.
Yeah, we've had him on.
Charlotte, what about your experiences working with Randy and this one right here? Do you remember that? You saw the episode?
Oh yes, I actually watched it last night because it was so long ago. But I really enjoyed working with both you and Randy. And Randy was such a very down to earth guy. I was actually surprised. He was very well mannered. He was very respectful. He was such a gentleman. And I've nothing, everything but good things to say about him.
All right,
And you too.
let's take a look at this.
Oh my God, what are you guys doing here?
Ryan, I told you we had the wrong cabana.
Beth, I'm really sorry. We didn't mean it.
You came in here to watch me shower, didn't you? And you saw my mother?
Please don't remind us.
You two are disgusting. Get out before I call security.
Really, Beth, I'm sorry. Really sorry.
I thought you were different, Ryan. I liked you. We were gonna have such a good time tonight.
We still can.
Don't ever speak to me.
Well, those plans are done.
You really killed it for your brother. Way to go. Yeah. I mean, but yeah, it's a cute stuff. And we didn't bring you back. Did Mr. Spelling bring you back for another show, Charlotte?
After that, I don't know. I mean, I honestly, I don't remember what the sequence of the shows were. I mean, was that before or after the graduation episode?
Yeah, I mean, Erin,
before. Yeah,
I don't think she came back. But Charlotte, did you get cast in a Spelling show after this?
I was offered to come back and have a series regular on one of the shows. He basically said, I want you to join the Spelling family. And ultimately it didn't work out, but yes. But I was invited.
How old were you when you shot that? How old were you?
Oh my goodness. I don't even know.
I mean, you look really, really young. What about you, Travis? How old were you when you were doing
this? I had
this?
to be about 17 or 18 years of age.
Perfect. Yeah. No, I was. I created your character. I think you came up in the New Year's Eve show. I think that's when we introduced the characters.
That's right.
Which was a script I wrote. And yeah, I mean, you exactly right. You were going to be the character who's going to make him look normal, even though we're going to, so that's exactly correct. Yeah, you did a great job.
Somebody mentioned a few weeks ago, we were talking about you on some show. I think Muntz, the actor that played Muntz, said that he got some Jim Carrey influence out of you. Was that something that you tried to do with your character, or were you just being who you were? Was there any influences at all?
No, I mean, comedy was a little more broad back in the mid to late 90s. So, I think there was a lot of that. And also, I got into the business mainly because I had a lot of energy and I was big. I was a big, big personality. I kind of went for it. So, Jim Carrey, I mean, there was some Jim Carrey in there. There's some, my favorite review that anyone ever left. So this is back in the day. This was like, I don't know if you guys know what list serves are, but there was these list serves where you had to go in and it was like a bulletin board service basically. It was like when the internet was super, super new.
Okay.
And, so people would do reviews of 90210 episodes like immediately after they aired. And someone described my acting as, those like little rubber things that you put the fingers into and you go someone described my acting like that, and I thought it was perfect. I was like, that's true. That's it. That is what I do.
Wow. Even before Twitter, there was a way to be mean on the internet.
I know. That was like before the World Wide Web. That was he's talking about electronic bulletin boards.
Well, Larry, is he talking about Adelphi? Wasn't that
Delphi? Yeah, the Fox server that we used in the Rolling Stones episode.
Sorry.
Yeah, we were pumping that. But
it was basically like a mean tweet before mean tweets existed. So.
It was, yeah. No, it was really true.
I was like, that's about it.
Did you read that all the time?
No, I think for some reason, I just kind of was interested in what people would say about my performance in 90210, because it's like there really weren't. I watched the show, but I didn't watch the show. I think after about season 3 or 4. regularly. But so as far as I was aware, in my opinion, there really weren't a lot of people kind of doing that sort of stuff on the show. So it was kind of a bit weird for Beverly Hills 90210. So I want to see how people would respond. Some people liked it, some people didn't.
How did you like the director? Anson Williams was the director of this episode, who was Potsy on Happy Days for early years. He directed a number of episodes for us. I think this might have been the first one, though. Yeah, and he's a good director, I thought. I mean,
he was great. Every director I worked with, including Jason, were freaking amazing. Again, like I don't know that I had any problems with anybody on the show. I thought everyone did a super good job. Here's the thing: you don't get to be a show like 90210 and have that many seasons. It's sort of like Supernatural. It's kind of in the same kind of area where you don't get to do a show for that many years and not be incredibly good at your job, and that's everybody. Larry. So, that's everybody associated with the show is just at the top of their game, doing an excellent job. If a bunch of people or a few people just really aren't cutting it, it's going to pull the whole show down. But that show made it through, I don't even know how many seasons, but
10, yeah.
10. Yeah. So you don't do that. You don't do that unless the people at the top, and also, the people at the top know how to pull in the right people. So, I mean, everyone from, crap, even the catering was amazing.
Well, we had by the 7th season, it certainly got better. Everything got better, a little bit better. Or even the 6th season actually too. 6th season, we had more money then. I mean, there's a lot of extras in this thing. I'm always impressed when I look at these episodes. Like, oh my God, there's so many people in this.
Yeah, there's a lot of
big productions. I can't remember, where was the Beach Club? Do you remember where the set was? The Beach Club set, Charlotte or Travis?
Yeah.
Where?
Like the Manhattan Beach area, I think.
It was?
Mm-hmm. Down there.
Okay, I didn't recognize it right off. So I think we did try to look. I saw one shot which I didn't recognize of the beach apartment at one point, like a corner shot of it.
Yes,
maybe they did tie that in. They snuck it in there.
Yeah. Charlotte, what else do you remember about shooting all of this stuff? Do you have any other memories of it?
I do. I actually, when you contacted me, I started reflecting on the whole experience. And I remember, going to have lunch and seeing the whole cast there just sitting together and just such nice people. I just remember everybody was really relaxed and cool. And I was nervous, of course. It was one of my first jobs. And the director was just so respectful and helpful. And the whole experience in general was just kind of like one of those LA, California, at the beach, having a great time as a young actress experience.
And Travis, they brought you on. You did a whole bunch of stuff here. You mentioned before that graduation of I think that was the end of this season, right? The big party on the
that's season 6.
The party on the boat, but when what's his face? When
the 20s party.
When Bill Keller goes to
the Roaring 20s party.
Roaring 20s party that Larry loves so much. What do you remember coming back often, being called back, and what was that kind of like for you?
That was really cool. I was working on a sitcom at that time, like around that time. It just so happened that when the sitcom was on hiatus, I was available to do the 90210 stuff, and that was awesome. I thought I'd be one and done. So when they called me back to do the next episode, I was stoked, obviously.
Well, you got the scholarship because you were working with Randy, and I had the character payment on both your characters.
Yeah, exactly. I think if Randy had found something else to do, I probably wouldn't have been called back.
You'd be gone. It's just sometimes it works for you. Sometimes the gods look down on you. We call it the scholarship. Sometimes you get the scholarship.
That's right. Scholarship for sure. I had a great time every single time, and I'll be honest too. One of the big impressions that I got was from Jason Priestley. That guy really kind of blew my mind in the way of just being a role model for how to be on a set, how to be the guy, how to be top 3 on the call sheet on a set. I mean, so he's there and he's directing. I think he introduced.
Which one did he direct you in? I'm curious if he had changed between season 6 and season 7.
He directed the graduation episode, yes?
Oh, yeah, he directed 7. So, yeah, it's 7. Yeah, exactly. He directed both those.
That one, I don't know if he directed that. I think it was just that one.
Yeah, I think so.
But it might have been, yes, I think it was just that one. But, like, I remember one time, we were running lines, we were, rehearsing for a scene, and, I had this line where instead of saying cool, I said, that's razor. And I just kind of kept having a tough time with that line. And Jason comes up to me. He's like, Travis, what's up? You got a problem with the line? And I said, no, I love it. I love it. I keep saying razor, Jason. I love it. I'm on the team. Let's do it. Let's go. Come on, put me in the game. And he was like, well, what do you want to say? What do you want to say? And I said, well, I think what I would probably say is, that's cool. And he said, really? And I said, yeah, that's what I would say. And he said, okay. And he pulls out his phone, his cell phone. It's the 90s, his big old cell phone,
Oh shit!
He flips it down. He punches in some numbers. He gets on the phone. He goes, I don't remember what the secretary's name was. He goes, hey, Audrey, listen. Audrey, hey, yeah, it's Jay. I'm on the set. Let me speak to Uncle A.
My God.
And I start sweating. I literally could feel like the little, how sometimes you get the cold sweats and the little pinpricks of sweat start happening like right around here and kind of in here. So I start sweating. And he kind of gives me one of these, like, nah, wait a second.
The Hollywood point.
I'll get you. And he goes, Aaron, I'm on your set. One of your actors, he always uses the interesting pronoun. He's like, one of your actors has a problem with his line. Page 38. It says, that's razor. He wants to say that's cool. Okay, great. I'll let Diane know. Thanks. He goes, you're saying that's cool.
Wow.
This sounds really apocryphal to me, I have to tell you. Can't imagine this, but okay.
That's amazing, man. That's hilarious.
I think he was pranking you myself.
Of course, yeah.
I think it was a prank. I'm pretty sure he was, because Aaron would have been involved in something like that.
Not actually happening, but
yeah, I mean, he would have called me up, I would have thought, but we would have got a call from the script supervisor saying they want to change this in the script.
Larry, at this point, you wanted the Spice Girls. You were persona non grata.
No, this is not that. This is early in the season.
I'm just kidding. Yeah,
this is all in the season.
I'm just kidding.
Yeah, it's Razor.
And Jason had just done. We just done. Remember the Alamo. Yeah, this was but it was a good move of Jason's either way. I think it was a very classy move, and you got your feel good about your line, which is a director's job to make you feel comfortable.
Travis, you're what, 18, 17, you're coming off the show, it's on TV. You must be getting recognized from doing this in those days. Do you still get recognized from this?
90210, not so much. It was a long time ago. I mean, you guys saw the footage. I don't necessarily look like that. I got a slightly different body composition, but other stuff, the supernatural, the Euro trip stuff.
Yeah.
But Beverly Hills was a huge show, but I think people weren't really like, hey, you were on 90210.
Even back in the day, like
this is all LA. I mean, I'm in LA. It's not really, people.
It's not a big deal, right?
People are trying to big league you all over the place. So.
No doubt. Sarah, do you have any questions for Travis or Charlotte?
Oh, putting me on the spot.
Sorry, do that.
No, it's fine. I just was wondering, I guess, with your character being so comedic, was that something did you ever want more of a dramatic spin? Because I feel like they gave Ryan more of like the love interest, and I feel like Austin never really got to have a love interest. I might be remembering it wrong.
Good question.
Yeah. No, I loved what I was doing. I mean, I thought that, because doing the dramatic stuff, to me, that's actually work. Like, I remember I did an episode of Boston Public, and I committed suicide, and it was super heavy. That was work. I mean, I showed up every day, having to do the work and get into character and everything else. And for 90210, a lot of that was mostly just me. And a lot of it too was improv, to be honest with you. A lot of it, I would just kind of, drop an extra couple, I would drop like an extra few words or a line in here or whatever. And if it worked in rehearsal, script supervisor would put in a call, so I had a lot more fun doing that stuff. And when you get into that sort of love interest stuff, or you get into like a heavy kind of dramatic kind of situation, for me anyway, as an actor, you wind up having to show up that day to work. And it just felt like work for me, where the comedy kind of feels more like play, which is still work. I mean, it's still work. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah, no doubt.
But you wind up just sort of it's lighter and it's easier, and especially if I'm sitting there feeling like it's kind of my job to not set Randy up per se, but just kind of be in that, occupy that space to make him seem, like I said, kind of cool and sane in comparison. So I was totally cool with that role.
Our friend Kristen McIsaac wants to know what Charlotte and Travis are doing today with their careers. Charlotte, let's start with you. What are you up to?
Oh, thank you so much. I feel like I'm just coming off of the whole COVID extravaganza and just getting back out there in the field and auditioning. And I've had some really exciting auditions. I did a movie called Training Day, and the director of that brought me in for something recently that I'm up for and I'm auditioning for.
What was that? The director was, I think he used to be married to Rebecca Gayheart, didn't he?
No, this is Antoine Fuqua.
Yeah. I think he was.
Oh, I didn't.
He was married to Rebecca Gayheart, who, of course, was our Tony Marchand.
Before Eric Dane?
No.
Before Eric Dane, yes.
Uh-huh. Wow, and Sarah, I love that she has the scoop there. Yes. I forgot to say Sarah is
anyway, good. It's good. It's a good 90210 mojo. I like it.
Yeah. How about you, Travis? I know that you're working, you're constantly acting, right? I think you're directing too and writing and a lot of things, right?
I was. I kind of I've stepped back from the entertainment biz. I'm in the legal profession now. I just kind of hit that point where I just want to do something else. So my last acting gig was 2017.
Got it.
So my last acting gig was 2017, and I was actually a corpse in my very last shot.
Symbolic.
I ever worked.
They could be.
I was on a slab, just dead, and I had like the dead person makeup on me and everything, and I kind of was like, you know what?
This is it.
Fine.
This is it.
Hey,
so after that, actually, literally after that, I think I walked off the set. I think I literally went and started filling out applications for college and stuff, and now I graduated and I'm just kind of working.
Oh, beautiful. Hey, I'm sorry to interrupt Charlotte. So what are you doing now, Charlotte? I didn't mean to.
Oh, no, I was just talking about how, since COVID, now the business is waking up again, I've just been basically pounding the pavement and going on actually some really cool auditions, and one of which was for the director of Training Day, and
nice. Yeah.
Who I worked with before.
Oh, cool.
Very cool.
Nice.
Hey, Travis, they wanted me to ask you, Melinda says, what was it like working with Jed Allen? And I guess you worked with him a bunch, right? Rush Sanders. Do you remember Jed Allen? Jed Allen was Steve's. He
played your father.
He played your father, yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Are you Googling Jed Allen?
Oh, my God.
It's been a minute, huh?
Yeah, it has.
Yes. It's been, 20 some odd years. Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's good.
Nothing triggering. That's good. As long as nothing bad comes up when you see his face.
I'm not on the floor, begging for a blanket and putting my thumb up. Obviously.
That's amazing.
It was good, man.
All right, Larry, we have a lot.
Like I said, everyone on the show, absolutely awesome. Fantastic. Just had a great time. Every day I showed up on set, I loved it. I just had a great time. I don't know if I've had a better time on set.
Oh, good.
Well, you said you watched the show prior to, right? So you knew like what the Peach Pit was. You knew what these iconic locations were. When you walked on set for the first time for both of you, I mean, I don't know that you got to see some of that, Charlotte, but because I think you were just at the beach club. But for you, Travis, when you saw some of these iconic locations, is that intimidating? What does that feel like when you see all these places? You're like, oh shit, that's the Peach Pit. I'm there now. Yes.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how else to describe. Yeah, like you see it and you're like, oh no, this is real and this is happening. I mean, actually, I look back. I have I keep journals and stuff, and recently, like a few months ago, I was looking back on one of my journals from around this time, and I literally was on set and I wrote down, this is like being on the cover of People magazine, except everyone's moving.
Wow.
That's great. Yeah.
And, it was like that. Like I would walk down I'm walking down the hallway and there goes Tiffany Thesis. I'm like, hi, Tiffany. Pretty mind-blowing stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do remember your audition. You really were good. You were exactly what we wanted.
Say again, Larry?
I said, I remember your audition. You were exactly what we wanted because I knew we had already cast Randy. I wrote it for Randy. And we're just looking for the foil there. And, I said, oh, thank God we got someone who can kind of, be really broad and, just like you thought. So it worked out well.
Yeah, cool. And the I had no idea. So, I wasn't going for that energy. It's just that's just my natural energy. And I guess, that worked out. So.
It was really awesome stuff, man. Thank you so much for spending some time with us here. We really appreciate you. We love it. Everybody here has been so excited that you were joining us, and so it's great to have you, man. Mm-hmm. And you as well, Charlotte. It's
Charlotte's a bonus.
Yeah,
it's lovely to see you. Did really lit up the screen, like I said. That blue bikini looked good.
And Larry, I wanted to say just how amazing I think it is. Everything that you've done, just how accomplished you are, and for how long. And I find that just obviously very commendable and just really cool.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, I say, we love the show. I mean, we love the characters, and it meant a lot to us. So, we had to work harder than our fans because we know they loved it, and we had to love it more.
Yeah.
Definitely. All right. So to Travis and Charlotte, we're going to say goodbye, and good seeing you, man.
Oh, thanks for coming.
Hey, guys, thanks for inviting me. Charlotte, it was great to see you again.
All right. Bye-bye, guys.
Bye.
All right, Larry, there's a lot of other things to cover that's happening in this episode. So I wanted to get all that out of the way first. I'm also giving away another DVD set today. So all you have to do is write hashtag I love 90210 in the comment section. And at the end of this, we will give away a second DVD.
I'm doing it right now.
You might be the winner of this. Okay.
It was great to see Beth and Travis. So Travis was 17 then, so he'd be under 40 still. He's not even 40 yet.
He went to college recently. That's cool.
Yeah, so he must have gone back. When he said legal profession, I wondered what that meant. But
well,
God helpeth the country if he's anything like Austin. But no, he did a wonderful job. It was really kind of fun. Just a little bit of comic relief, and gave Steve some complication, a chance to grow up himself a bit, and the way we used him.
I wanted to ask you, Larry, I mean, writing for those two dudes must have been a lot of fun. You know what I mean? Because you have all this heavy stuff to sort of write when you're writing a season episode, and then you have these two guys that you can just kind of have fun with, right?
Yeah, I mean, but it was always going to be, within Steve's orbit for the most part. It was a way to kind of have Steve face his own self, because that was the whole idea, that they would be doing the same stupid things that Steve would have done at that age. And so that's pretty much the thesis of the first time we see him, which is in the New Year's Eve show. And then, just seeing what they could do. Once we saw that they were interesting, then I found ways to bring them back. And we gave Randy a couple of, nice plots. I think he has the binge drinking thing in Smash, which we covered. And also with another girl. I thought maybe we had brought Beth back, but I guess we didn't. There's another girl. I'm pretty certain that he thinks he's going to actually, get to, fight crime with her. And
doesn't he try to get with Kelly's sister?
What's that?
Isn't it Kelly's sister? Is it Joy? Kelly's
sister?
No,
it's another.
There isn't.
There's a graduation day. Yes,
graduation
day. There is another thing in graduation day, but there's also something. Maybe in the 7th season before that, where he actually has like a sure thing, and Steve has to give him advice and give him a condom.
I remember that.
You remember that? Yeah. I have to look it up.
Just tell us what episode that.
Yeah, seriously.
Did you ask for Dr. Weiss? Dr. Weiss, calling Dr. Weiss. Just chime in with that. What's the other thing? But yeah, it was great to see them, and it was fun writing for them. And Look, I shamelessly wrote that for Mr. Spelling's son as a way to just kind of make everybody happy in the family, and it worked out well. It was
Okay,
fun for
let's talk
everybody.
about a few other things. I'm going to show you this because we loved this line when we watched the watch along, Larry.
Claire, where's your better half?
Back there playing poker. Did you know that Steve and Kelly slept together?
Yeah, sure. Why?
Great. So everybody does know that, right?
What are you talking about?
Everybody but me.
Claire, it was a long time ago. We were in high school. What's the big deal?
Has it ever occurred to you how incestuous this little group is?
I try not to dwell on it.
All right, so let's talk about Steve's secret, how Claire felt about it in this incestuous group. By the way, I asked Kathleen before we came on if she remembers anything about this line. And what she told me to say is that she remembered being asked to remove her sunglasses and being annoyed that Jason didn't have to. That's
Oh my God.
yeah.
Don't forget.
Well, Spelling again,
I
Shorty has talked about that Mr. Spelling did not like sunglasses on his actors because the eyes were the temples of the soul or whatever the thing was. But look, I mean, this comes out of something, in the series building. I talked about this before, but we vertically integrate the characters, and so they've all kind of done the dance with each other. We're now in season 7 here. Over 200 episodes, and so we knew the audience knew that, so we figured we better just point it out in a clever way. And she looks so gorgeous. My God, I mean, this year I have to say everyone was at the top of their physical powers. They just look all gorgeous. And looking at this episode again, it's the second episode of the season. It's picking right up after the road trip to Texas and Remember the Alamo, but we're setting up something big. We try to, mine the past. We bring back the beach club, which, everyone meant a lot. And then we find something really emotional in it, something that had never, ever been explored, which was this, why Kelly has been called the slut. So it's like a free pass. We got a chance to do something, and to do it with Ian was, gives him something really strong. We've always played the fact that he really carries a torch for her. He always has. And it provides this whole episode with a great Steve Sanders story and Kelly Taylor story, and Brandon is in the middle of it, and Claire's in the middle of it too. So it's really it does a lot of good things for us in this episode as far as series writing goes. I like what I did there.
Someone wanted to know at the start of the episode, there's a sign that says "Future Home of the Beverly Hills Beach Club." Was that because the beach club that was used in season 2 and 3 was no longer available?
That's correct. Yeah. That was the Sand and Sea. I think it was torn down by that point, or transformed into something else.
I have 2 questions.
Go for it. But first, for Larry, what made you decide to do a Kelly and Steve story from years ago?
Well, we were filming. We filmed this probably in the second week of July, because I know we always started our season writing wise right after Memorial Day, so it would have been about 5 weeks after that. So that puts us into probably more. So that's almost gives us 6 weeks. And so we had the summer, and just the idea of the beach club. People love those episodes and stuff. We didn't have to run to college, is what I'm saying. We always tried to keep in the calendar. So that kind of was, we were airing this in September. So we did have a kind of a shot to do, a summer beach episode.
No doubt.
And, and then within that, there's so many nice touchstones and memories for people we could have a little bit of fun with, and also get everyone down there looking great at the beach, which always is important to me. Guys with shirts off.
Go ahead, Sarah.
If you guys talked about this already, then we don't have to talk about it. But did you ever think about putting Kelly and Steve together like as adults, which I don't think would work because he's so friend zoned and it works so well as it is. But was that ever a discussion?
I'm curious about that too.
I think it was never a serious discussion. We always used it. I think at the top of season 5, Steve comes back after Celeste dumps him from Hawaii and says, "Brandon, you'll never guess. I know who I want now. I want Kelly." And of course, Brandon's just spent the whole summer since the Washington thing with Kelly. And so, again, that was have some fun to kind of really screw up Steve, which is part of our job, was to, prevent, problems for him. And then we had this thing here, because so like I said, Steve always carried the torch. If the series had gone long enough, maybe in season 14 you might have happened, because you got to be vertically integrated. You go, hey, wait a second, who haven't we used yet? I mean, sometimes that happens that way. Look, I mean, what's the big deal? Right. But by the way, I said Fighting Crime before. I can't remember what books that's from. Do you remember? It's from like a very famous kind of a Gen X book. What else? It's from Microsurfs. And then anytime they talk about making love, they call it fighting crime. Oh yeah, we were fighting crime.
My other question, which we kind of talked about a little bit, but this obviously goes back to high school, and it's not rewriting history by any means, but it's exploring history that the fans do know about, but you're giving us more information. As you were writing these later seasons, like how often did you want to go back to like the high school stuff? Like, because you're honoring it and you're expanding on it. I don't know if this makes any sense, but then you're also like rewriting it a little bit. Like, we're seeing things.
Larry was
slamming. We're slamming. We're opening the moment up.
We had
it's true. It's a story slam. Not to. It's we're opening a moment up. Look, I mean, the same thing happened with the mention of the flying stepchildren. Which would never. They just kind of harvest that, brought it in. So all that stuff that was set up, was ready to be mined. Again, we were looking for a lot of story content. So I think we knew what, real emotional touchstones and the things were. Look, Jack McKay, other things, Mrs. Teasley, they're things that people really responded to. They were always in our mind. So, it's just this question as you want to use them, judiciously in the right places. And, starting this season, again, because of the second episode of the season, probably airing probably September 14th or something, still kind of summerish. The beach club just seemed like a natural place to tell a lot of story. And also, and then, we tell every story there, I think, because we even bring Kenny Bannerman and Valerie there. Yeah, well, let's go. Yeah, because
now talk to me about, because we really want to get Kenny Bannerman on the show. He's very busy. He does music and all this stuff, so I don't want to undermine what he's working on, but we really would like to have you on here.
Joey Gian. Close your eyes and you think it's Sinatra.
Yes. So, do you remember casting Joey Gian in this Kenny Bannerman? Tell me what.
There's another character I created. I just he was just. I didn't want anyone that was really he was just sexy and stuff. And, he might appeal to her and he kind of had some charm to him and stuff. At the same time, we knew he was going to be, a cad because he was not going to leave his wife. I mean, we were telling, a bad husband story here, which some of us knew.
We watched this and he dropped a line, I think, right to Valerie that he was they're divorced or
separated.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's in fact his wife's on Martha's Vineyard.
Larry,
that's a Martha's Vineyard reference there. Yeah,
where are you right now, Larry?
I'm at Martha's Vineyard. Yeah, no. So Kenny was, amalgam of a lot of them we knew. But the funny thing is that Val comes into the picture in this season 7 episode. She's wearing a uniform. It looks like, I'm laughing like, what the heck is this thing?
Yeah.
But and then she kind of really looks fantastic later on at the beach club, and it's just that this whole season really was the step into adulthood for them. So this totally seemed like a kind of a story of Valerie getting involved with a married man. I mean, it's an old story, but we had a nice, way to go at it. And, everyone's responsible. Jim sets her up on it. Jim, thanks a lot, Jim Walsh, for setting this up. And then we have some great fun we find out that Kelly was her kid's babysitter.
Right.
Which, and there's a really good line there I have to point out. When after Kenny realizes they know each other, that Jenny and that Kelly and Val know each other, he says, "Oh, you're good friends." She goes, "Good enemies."
Good enemies.
Yeah, I love that stuff.
And
go ahead.
So again, vertically integrated, getting everybody down on the same set. That was, that's a real plus for us when you can do that, because you can really spend your days there. You could shoot 20 pages at the beach, so you can park your trucks there for 3 days.
I want to show you the Steve and Kelly's moment here. I think it's really nice stuff out of Ian.
After you broke up with me, Kelly, I started spreading rumors about you.
What are you talking about?
I told anyone that would listen that you were a slut and that you'd sleep with anybody. It was me, Kelly. I was the one who spread all those rumors about you. And I'm to blame for the horrible reputation you had at West Beverly all those years.
How could you do that?
I thought we were friends.
No, it's just once the ball got rolling, I couldn't stop it. I'm sorry.
You bastard. Do you know how long I had to live with that? Do you know how long that followed me? Yeah, the worst part is, I became that girl. I became the slut that everybody thought I was, and I am still getting over it.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, well, sorry does not make up for what you put me through.
Yeah, I mean, it's good stuff to chew on for Steve,
Really good writing here too.
Steve Wasserman wrote this episode, and we want to shout out to Steve wherever you are. He died on Memorial Day weekend, so we're not that far from it.
I mean, I feel like there's a lot of Steve Wasserman through this whole series, and we don't really always talk about that. You know what I mean? Because it's the show the way it is. But I mean, you can feel it all through some of this, yeah.
Yeah, Steve, and probably Steve, who knew a lot of the high school episodes. So he helped bring in a lot of the story to light also. And Steve always brought the schmaltz. He brought the heart, and besides also working in the post production with Chris Connolly, who's not here.
Poor Chris Connolly.
I know. I feel bad Chris is not here because there was a lot of post production in this one, a lot of replacement dialogue because the waves were crashing through the stuff.
Hey, Larry, the other thing too happening in this is David is very, very Ray Pruitt and very angry in some of this. Is this what you guys are writing, or is this the direction?
No, it feels like it's spun out of control a little bit too early for me. I can say, hey, it's a four, because this year he becomes bipolar full out, and it's, we deal with some mental issues with him, so that's pretty good. But looking at it again, I would have toned it down a bit. I'm sure we had a meeting with Anson and talked about it, but sometimes the actor just, he's playing with what he wants. I mean, we knew this was a breakup episode for them, so there's that. And again, this whole tension of college is ending. What am I going to do with my career? And he's losing his job, his contract there, and Donna's not into it the same way. She's at a freaking beach club. I mean, see,
he's with Eddie Cibrian. That's Eddie Cibrian.
Yeah.
Eddie Cibrian, I always liked. I'm so glad we could finally cast him because Eddie Cibrian was very tall, so he was very difficult to cast because the other guys didn't like it. They were tall actors. So this was on the sand. You could get away with it.
Really good stuff, though. Hey, I'm also giving away this 90210 DVD, so make sure you write hashtag I love 90210, and I'm going to give it away in just a moment. Anything else that you want to mention from this episode, Larry, that we need to cover?
Well, yeah. I mean, this is really a very big Brandon Kelly episode. I mean,
yes,
he's come back from his, just to help you out. I mean, we're coming off some, she's come off her drug and stalker binge, and she had her summer trying to, get herself for the adult world again. Her last year of college, she does an internship, she's working at a hospice and stuff. And he's had a whole trip, which was the trip he was supposed to go on with Susan Keats, and she kind of screwed him. So, and they haven't really been together since, she didn't want to marry him since she turned the rings thing down. Now this year, we're going to really heat that up. So him seeing her again is just delightful when he sees her in that hospice there, and she's working on her knees and the gloves and stuff. And it's just really real and touching, I thought. And you can really feel the attraction they have for each other, working it through in the scenes they have in this thing together. Even though they seem to be focusing on other people, they're really on each other. And they're going to give each other space because we have other plans for them. Namely, she's going to end up with Mark, we think, for a while. And we've got the girl coming in who's going to be the newscaster. We already got scripts going on that. We know we're going to have a Tracy Galian thing happen. But at the same time,
Sarah missed a couple of weeks ago the Mark Reese What Happened story, right? So you have to look that up.
I'll go back and listen.
Yeah, the Mark Reese. Yeah, well, that's the kissing problem. That's the epitome of the kissing problem story.
Yes.
Where it just, and I can understand it. If you're not going to spend your days with someone you don't want to kiss. I mean, that's what happened. So we had to, hustle and change things. But I think the scenes between Brandon and Kelly for those Brelly fans are really good because we know we're going to be leading up to this thing about the ring again. We have not forgotten about that ring. and Brandon's going to get that ring, back, and that, we have to cover that episode with this ring, and I know you want to have Kelly for that, or Jason. We have to do a episode with the two of them. Maybe we won't do that episode, just that episode. We'll do a couple. But we have to cover that relationship, the Kelly Brandon, right, Peter Goldsworthy, listening in Hawaii, in Australia right now.
We know he's probably thinking about it right now.
And that stuff, I thought, again, we pick up from the last episode. Everyone's coming back to college, and it's all starting up again. We also throw out a Brenda thing, where Brenda's in London. We just got to keep that alive again, and everyone's, we give everyone in their place. And what else? Is there another storyline that we miss?
No, but Caro K has a question. It's a long-winded, but I'm gonna try to help you. So, Larry, question with your writing skills and dialogue: does this cross over to your personal life? When you have to deal with, say, any conflicts, do you compose and draft well, thought out, excellent responses? Do you have epic comebacks in life situations?
Oh, no.
Do you ever use lines that
I wish.
Writing for TV? That sounds like something you might do.
It's interesting. So basically you're saying, can I write my life better than no, it doesn't quite work out that way, because then the other person doesn't pick up the dialogue the way you want them to, or doesn't react the same way.
Well, no, does anybody?
So that's why you become a writer, so you can control all the characters.
No, but
that's
have you ever been into an argument with someone, say, hey, you know what? May the bridges I burn light the way. Have you ever dropped something like that on somebody?
I probably, but
I'm going to start saying that's Razor. See if I can bring it back.
That must have been something that Steve wanted in there, because I don't really remember it. I certainly wouldn't say it. It's a little bit awkward, but I think Steve must have heard it. Wasserman, Steve Wasserman must have heard it and really wanted that. So that's interesting. I hadn't thought about that.
Sarah,
but it was nice to hear about the table reads, though, because I think in the seventh season, or maybe the sixth season, we started doing table reads, which helped everyone get involved a bit. And you had guest stars there too. I'd forgotten if we had the guest stars there.
Sarah, next time you cover something, you should really end the article. Wow. That's Razor.
You're gonna read the Us Weekly Instagram tomorrow and be like, "This is totally Razor," instead of "That's the team." I'll get fired.
God, I guess we were trying to go for some hip dialogue. Maybe we were trying to go viral with it. I don't remember. I wish I could ask Steve. I really enjoyed Steve. The world's a lot duller place without Steve, I got to tell you.
Well, listen, hey, I mean, we're on this now. I don't want to go too far into this, but it is Memorial Weekend just passed. What do you want to talk about Steve and say something that fans should know about him? I wish Jessica was with us to do that, but
well, Steve and Jess, they were unbeatable. They were a writing team, and really, really were a cornerstone of Chuck's team for seasons 2 and 3. And then, personally, it just got hard for them to write together. They grew apart, and so as they grew apart, to be able to write together really got hard. So this might have been the first episode that Steve did by himself, actually, I'm thinking, because I wrote with him You Say It's Your Birthday, which was the episode before the end of season 6.
Right.
And I don't think he wrote one by himself. Is Phantom from 6 or 7?
6.
Yeah. Okay, so Steve, that was the first one Steve did, Phantom.
Speaking of the Phantom, we couldn't find the Phantom, so that's really goes along with what happened there. So we tried.
No Phantom, but I understand we have Dick, the straight shooter.
Yeah,
Steve Clare, Dick
Triangle. That will be in June next week. Chuck and I are covering Castles in the Sand.
Nice.
So that should be a lot of fun. And the week after that, we'll do some sort of combo of Chuck and Larry. We just don't know what yet because we have to book it. So we won't say what.
Right.
I want to give away this thing. So I'm going to add this giveaway tool and see how this plays out. And we'll see who wins this extra DVD.
It's just picking by random?
It's picking by random.
No one for a while.
Yeah.
Linda Elizabeth.
There you go.
There you go.
So
Spin the wheel.
Linda, hit me up at Peter at Beverly Hills 90210 show, and we will send your info over to the people that made the DVD without the real music, and they will send it to you. So, yeah.
You can get through one of these without someone talking about the music.
Had to mention it. Chuck would be proud.
Oh, well, the music, yeah. But now the music in this episode, is the Eliminators, this surf band. It was pretty damn good. I quite enjoyed it, though. We didn't really focus much on dancing. Of course, David didn't dance, which was unfortunate.
Yeah.
It was just again, I was pretty happy. I hadn't seen this episode since we did it, and I said, "Oh yeah, that's good." You can feel the tension of the new year.
And as a diehard Claire, she looked incredible in this episode.
God.
It's just like there are so many various looks and
Now, I do have a question for the fans, though. Where did Valerie get the tennis outfit from? That's what I want to know. All of a sudden, she's in her uniform at the CPA's office. She says, "Let's go play tennis." Now, do they have I don't know how this got away, but do they just have outfits at the tennis clubs that you just put on and they just happen to fit some magic?
She liked to spend money to make money, so she probably, bought it.
They stopped on the way.
Yeah, definitely.
Sarah just proved what writing is. Writing is solving problems. That's all we would talk about. Well, we got to solve this problem.
I found Kenny so creepy. Even
a little bit creepy. Yeah.
Yeah, I found him so creepy.
How about when he has her at the door and he kind of covers her there so she can't get out?
I don't like it.
I mean, woo! But then he gives her $10,000, baby.
Hey,
Valerie was so
she's not a hooker with no price. She has a price.
Sarah, he's definitely somebody that we've seen at a Jersey bar somewhere.
Oh, I was down the street this weekend. That's why my voice is a little like this. But yeah.
Yeah, Kenny Bannerman. Yeah, that was, he was useful. He served, I say it a lot, he served the show.
He did.
The show.
Someone wanted me to say the Fan of CU was season 7. Okay, thank you.
Okay, yeah, it was season 7. So yeah, this might have been the first one Steve did by himself then.
Yes. Okay. And then Lacey wants to say, "Hey, I hope Larry knows how much his writing and others of this show influenced our life."
Thanks.
Very nice comment.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
And Peter Goldsworthy will let you know that at some point in the next month, we will attempt to cover Brandon and Kelly, but we're going to cover a portion of it. But we're on it, buddy. So don't worry about it. And
Sarah, what's going on for you in New York before we get out? Everything's all right there?
Yeah, all good. We're living our lives, probably, probably too much, honestly.
Yeah, we are too out here. How about you? Yeah. Are you living your lives out in Martha's Vineyard?
Oh yeah, I'm going to see live music, man. The Tedeschi Trucks band is playing outside here. I got tickets for that. I got tickets for other stuff, and
nice.
It's all going off here. The gym has no masks. I'm in great shape now. But I miss LA. I've been away for about 6 weeks now.
We miss you too, man.
When we're back, Pete, we should do a live show, like a barbecue show. We'll have
we are planning some of this. We're going to do an actual in-person event.
Yeah,
it's going to happen in the summer. So
do a beach party.
Exactly. So get ready for all that. All right, guys, this is enough for this week. We've covered it all. We got it. We will be back next week. Chuck and I covering the Castles in the Sand from season 3, I think it is. All right, guys, I'm sure someone's ready to correct that. This was we meet Larry going to an after dark Zoom, and this has been great. We will see you.
Bye, Sarah.
Bye. Thanks, guys.